and Environmental Science, Assam Central University, Silchar, Assam. She has over 35 years of experience in teaching and conducting research on different environmental and biotechnological aspects of algae and lichens of northeastern India. As this is considered to be the hotspot of biodiversity of the world, one of the hotspots. So she has published so far 80 research articles in reputed peer-reviewed journals and 10 book chapters with publishers such as Springer, Elsewhere, and CRB Press, etc. She has handled different research projects funded by DST, DBT, DRDO, Assam government, and other funding agencies. She has so far guided 21 scholars for PhD degree and 2 MPhil degrees. Currently, 8 PhD scholars are working under her guidance. Her research interest includes algal ecology, toxicology, pollution and biodiversity, algae from river, streams, and wetland ecosystem, and water chemistry, algae from tea ecosystem and terrestrial soil, rice field algae and biofertilizers, algae as fish feed and biofeed from algal biomasses, environmental biotechnology and lichenology. She received Senior Scientist Gold Medal Award by Association of Biotechnology and Pharmacy, then nominated by MHRD for Leadership and Entrepreneurial Program, that is LEAP, and elected Fellow of Indian Lichenological Society in 2022. She serves as editorial team member of Vegetos, a Springer Springer Nature Journal. So with this brief introduction, I welcome Dr. Jayashree Rout to present our lecture on behalf of University of Mysore, on behalf of UGC-HRDC Center, and on behalf of all the participants and my personal behalf, madam. I heartily welcome, madam, and please present your talk. Over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I will let me first of all welcome all of you. And this is a refresher course program. So I believe that it is a plant science background scientist who are there will listen to me.
Madam,
and
just to interfere with you, this is a heterogeneous group consisting of botany, zoology, microbiology, biochemistry, biotechnology, food science, and technology, home science, and biotechnology. So all this heterogeneous group,
okay.
madam.
Okay, it's all right. So
yeah, no
it is
problem.
a field where I am going to present. So this is my field of research, as it is explained. Mainly, it is on algae and lichen. So I will start my talk and discuss my theme. Let me share my slide, please. Okay. My slide is visible to all of you. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Make it full screen, madam. Slideshow. F5. If you press F5.
It is actually full screen.
Okay, madam, you can present, I think, no problem.
No, let me.
Yeah, slideshow, yeah, resume slideshow.
Individual. Is it coming? Full screen?
Not yet, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Is it a full screen now?
Yes,
Now
madam.
it is okay.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Now okay.
So, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, so this is a topic I am going to discuss on bioprospection of algae and lichen resources. As we all know, like since dawn of human civilization, higher plants have, for obvious reason, they have received much greater attention in the mainly for their fruits, crops, leaves, timber, forest. They are for the big statue and the beautiful color flowers and scented flowers, everything. Like in that way, this they have received a greater attention. And they are also they provide shelters for animals. So the various reasons for the higher plants to be much to receive much attention. As you all know, like in our pursuit of scientific studies, there was no exception. Like lower plants such as algae, fungi, lichen, moss, and even if some of this other group of the microbes. So with various unorganized structures, they are continued to be neglected. There are also for many reasons also there people do not lay much emphasis on these particular plants, and they feel that this is not of worth, they are having any value, because they are not visible, and apart from that also lot of much not work has not been carried out to understand what is their significance. And we like the scientific world, they have laid emphasis much on this particular different charismatic species like tigers, elephants particularly, and they like for the conservation aspect. So more of the emphasis is being laid on to this higher plants, higher animals, which are very much visible, and they have some physical giant structure, and during that in this particular run, actually this lower plants, they're entirely overlooked, particularly the lower group of the plants, what I'm going to highlight on mainly on the algae and lichen. We all know, like in every species on this earth has its own unique purpose. The presence of a particular organism, maybe it is a lower plant, or even if it is not visible, they contribute. They contribute in their own way, and their existence in this world is always linked to other organism, the presence of the organism, the existence of the other organism, and overall there is always a type of a wave like link, and it is a interwoven chain which we all try to ignore, and we don't understand that what way that can be important. So if one link is removed, there is a great deal a collapse. It is there, and the destruction of one tree, as for instance, impact many birds, insects, pollinators, which are all very crucial for the crops the human they consume, and we need to now give much emphasis on that, and as our world is continued to be have a more number of species we are having, and we all depend on those particular plants and animals in so many ways. So almost 7.8 billions of the people living on the earth, and in the beginning of this century, the world population has increased by 27%. So this is it is also has a direct link about this particular the existence of the plant and animal, and the different demand, and the as a food fodder, many other aspects. I will highlight all those aspects. So into 2030 even agenda for sustainable development, it is focused that population control and planet prosperity and on peace. These are the most important agenda, as we all know. And out of that, this particularly, I will highlight about this the SDG goals, particularly the 17 SDG goals. Which was they define what way actually this the societal the mankind's existence and the requirement and the overall the the global demand is there to fulfill those SDG goals. Okay, so today, as you all know, the algae, maybe at a macro or micro, they have been identified to be potential to respond to some of these world's most pressing challenges. I will highlight this particular SDG goals link to those particular algae and lichen in the last part of my slides. Now, this as my talk is, I have focus on this bioprospection. So it is to beginning to start with that, I will just highlight about what do we understand about this bioprospection. It is a systematic and organized search of useful products which can be derived from different bioresources. The bioresources can be a plant, can be a microorganism, can be an animal, and that can be developed further. Whatever it is there, what are the chemical entity or particular the metabolites, whatever it is there, it can be further developed for commercialization and overall benefit of this society. So it cannot be further developed for commercialization. It is not to benefit the society. So it has no meaning of this bioprospection. In this context, I would like to highlight this to bioprospect something. It is through it just like that we cannot do. We have to do through research, get some product, and that product will definitely lead towards income generation. And then we lay emphasis that yes, this particular material or the product is very important. So it is, since it is being derived from a material, particularly if I give an example of a plant material, so we go for conservation, plant or animal, whatever. So then we go from those materials, we go for bioprospection. So always we understand that yes, some particular organisms are there which are a pack house or of those of the materials. The useful products can be derived from that. Then we can bioprospect it. Okay. So now, let me just highlight about this particular, to coming to my algae and lichen bioresource. These organisms are lower group of the plants, and these organisms are non-parasitic plant-like organisms, and they colonize in different areas, like can be on tree surface, on the bark of a tree, like there, or rock or soil, in the moist areas, and it might be a water area, anywhere. Like I'm just, because since simultaneously I'm discussing about these two bioresource, so I may lay emphasis to one bioresource, and it may have a link to the other resource, or maybe entirely I may talk on the algae first, then on lichen. So this lichen and algae, they are often mistaken for a type of as if it is something fungal disease or something. It is not very, because as it is, doesn't have a clear-cut look, immediately it cannot be understood what is what. We need to see get a microscope to study a algae and confirm that it is a algae, or see some lichen, and that we have to see what is a lichen or something rust or something disease or something fungus, something. So always we try to have a thing, understanding by thorough understanding from that. Fortunately, these organisms, they do not harm plants on which they grow, or in the area where they contribute, do not pose any threat where they grow. So their arrival in a place, it is not at all like a type of a threat or a risk. Had it been very toxic or something of a nuisance, that is a different aspect. But as far as the organisms are there, they lichen particularly, they give a mature look to a garden, preferring on the damp areas where the minimal air movement is there. And the growth of algae and on the lichen, they may be very common on plants. They lack a vigor. They do not grow much, huge height, very small stature. And their presence could indicate that attention is needed, particularly on the old fruit trees. If you see some, particularly the lichen, which are foliose lichens and fruticose lichens, they keep on hanging from the huge height, and so those particular lichens, they indicate that yes, this particular something is growing, and it is obviously it is a lichens once we identify. Now, when we come to a understanding of what is algae, by saying the algae is something we have to first study the structure. What is the different, how we can understand, yes, it is algae. So the moment we see different color, then the morphology, then we try to say, yes, it is a unicellular. For example, it's a chlamydomonas. If you see some colony type, it is growing and it is having some chlorophyll inside and having this type of substructure under the microscope, of course. And then we can come to a conclusion, it is a volvox. Then there are some of the filaments is very commonly available, like a type of a spiral chloroplast and more the filamentous thalloid structure, that is a spirogyra. And when we see that this is a multicellular type of a leafy, as we something is a type of a vegetable, it is something it is growing. No, it is not. It is definitely it is a algae, that is ulva. So you see it like yes, from unicellular to colonial to filamentous to multicellular. This particular algae, they are varied, the diversity of structure. I'm just showing a picture of a Manas sanctuary from a sanctuary of Assam, where we can see it is a thick Spirogyra algal bloom cover in a stream ecosystem. So whenever we see this type of picture, this type of the areas where it is growing, something is floating, something is colored, then we have to see, yes, it is something a algae, it is something a thalloid structure, it doesn't have a true root, it is having something floating. Then we got interested that, yes, what is that? Then we see under the microscope, it is a beautifully spiral chloroplast intertwining between the inside the cell, and a very, very perfect uniform morphology it is being observed. So what we see as a nuisance and something not being emphasized, but we ecologists and scientists, as a botanist and as a plant biologist, we give much emphasis on those plants, how it come, what are the factors, causal factors. It is enhancing the growth of this particular bloom or algae in a particular area. We go to Kerala, we find some different algae. Go to the Arunachal Pradesh, we find some different type algae. Go to Rajasthan, we get to. So it has a very, very type of a area, a specific area environment which is conducive for growth of varieties of the algae in the different areas. So maybe I'm just talking about this context, but in globally also we find different types of the algae grows in some, because as you all know, the weather, climate, everything is different from one place to another. I will obviously highlight about some of this algae, which is can be a bioresource in Northeast India, from Northeast India. Let me give you again some of this again, we are from the audience are from the diverse specialization. So I would like to bring their attention, like yes, algae constitute a dynamic component of a different habitats and ecosystem, and they grow. There is a heterogeneous assemblage of such organisms. It can range from motile unicell to a complicated heterotrichous thallus. So, but all are algae. You find that there is a different morphology, unique structure, so much specialized organelles, the type of the so all of this algae, they are capable of growing in varieties of this habitat. The habitat may be aquatic or may be terrestrial. As you all know, in the globe, if you see, some area is aquatic, some area is terrestrial. So then it may be a subdivision of this particular things. But overall, I can highlight about this. Suppose you talk about this aquatic, it is a freshwater and a river and the tributaries, streams, wetlands, ponds, lakes. These all are different areas it can grow. Achha, am I audible again, please?
Yes,
you can listen to me,
Yes,
no?
yes,
Yes,
madam.
Yes,
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 madam.
yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Yes,
fine,
madam.
fine. Okay, yeah. Then terrestrial, if you talk about say damp soil and a concrete structure in the wall, surface, tree, bark, leaf, anywhere it is not watery, you can tell about this. So those are the terrestrial area. This algae, different types of this algae grow. Living aside the marine ecosystem, as we all know, we are having a most of this 2/3 of the water area is marine. And the rough estimate indicates that the existence of 200,000 to several million species of microalgae, in contrast to about 250,000 species of higher plants. As I'm just in my first slide, I was telling about the higher plants. And I'm just, if you compare with this lower group of the plants, you can imagine what a great estimates. It is an estimate. I'm just telling. It is not the exact, but it's a rough estimate. So we can even very come close to this particular higher plants, that is about so several million species of this. Now, these particular algae, they have potential applications. They can be considered as a very important renewable resource. What way? For food, beverage, feed, dyes, pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, value-added products, bioenergy, waste treatment, water remediation, carbon dioxide mitigation for climate change. So if you can again like relate to our SDG goals, I will obviously tell about what way this particular aspect can link to the SDG goals. So whenever we talk about bioprospecting, so it might be different types. One is chemical prospecting, gene prospecting, bionic prospecting. Whenever we talk about a chemical prospecting, that means we are doing something, some prospection. We are bringing about some of the development or prospection in line of chemicals, like particular drugs and pharmaceuticals, pesticides, cosmetics, food additives, and other industrially valuable chemical products. Now, we talk about the gene prospecting, like something we are prospecting in genetic makeup, like genetic engineering, crop development, fermentations, and cell structure. Now, coming to this bionic prospecting, as you think, it's a design, it might be a sensor technology, architecture, bioengineering, and biomodeling. So, whenever we highlight about any type of prospecting, either chemical, gene prospecting, bionic prospecting, we are obviously doing a bioprospection. Now, whenever through bioprospections, actually, you will not, you can see the picture where the unived, that is called Carlsbad. What it is coming from there, this algae calcium. That means whenever we get a calcium, we know how we are getting, and in the market, the medicine, we get some calcium supplements. Now, it is actually a product. It is actually bioprospection where this Algas calcareous, this particular, it is a natural plant-based, the vegan source of calcium whenever we see. So there are different types of these organisms different, which is being derived. And it is, first of all, we have to know the which particular algae should be targeted for these calcium supplements or maybe trace minerals. Okay. So with trace minerals and with magnesium, they are being supplemented. Okay, and also vitamin C, vitamin D3. Okay, all this. So this, I'm just trying to highlight the different companies are there, like Unibid. They are planning, they're trying, and they're bringing to the market. It is through bioprospection. Fine. So now, there are a lot of strategies that involve judicious use of these biological entities. As I told you, that these all are algae is one of them, even if lichen will be one of them. There are many plants and animal byproducts which can be brought into the bioprospection, but I will try to highlight and to link to the research how it can be linked. And as you all know, like microalgae are increasing interest in various sectors, as I already highlighted about this different environmental management, water purification, food, energy, biofertilizer, healthcare. That just earlier slide I just highlighted. So this is why this algae is so important, because as we all know, like since Precambrian era, the existence of the algae came into the earth, and they continuously supplied the oxygen by fixing the carbon dioxide, and which when the environment was earlier anoxic, so those algae, because earlier during the Precambrian era or before that, no other organism have arrived in this earth. So these algae, they are the first primary producers who can fix carbon dioxide or photosynthesize and supplement the oxygen. So whenever this particular organism, they are consuming lot of carbon dioxide, so that is again they are trying to make the environment carbon neutral and carbon dioxide sequestration, that is all that. So this is one aspect which we all can highlight about this, how this particular algae can be so useful. Now here we all know the whole world, in the government also, it is giving emphasis onto the developing the economy. Economy development is very important, and keeping our environment sustainability in mind. Then everywhere any waste, if that can be utilized, if the waste is converted to wealth, then we are doing some environmental sustainability. So even if algae is keeping its position very strongly, and microalgae are cultivated in wastewater. Why in wastewater? Because this wastewater, now you don't want to tell it is a no more a waste. This waste is being utilized where the algae are being cultivated. Okay, and from the wastewater and trying to cultivate our algae through some various photobioreactor on the raceway ponds, or high rate algal ponds. There are so many ways. Now this particular concept is coming. I'm just telling you, like, will not believe that this algae is the third generation fuel, biofuel. It is coming, and earlier the emphasis was given on the first generation biofuel, and when the first generation biofuel is being targeted on any type of a crop plants, then we are realizing no, we cannot sacrifice any crop plants. Now the world is searching for a second generation biofuel. Now the second generation biofuel, of course, it may not be a crop plant, but again quite expensive, and we have to have a huge amount of the land area and technology also it has to be there, and those particular non-crop plants has to be also grown somewhere, which is also labor intensive and energy intensive, isn't it? So we have to now, the world is now searching for third generation biofuel, which is algae. Algae is the only algae. It is the third generation biofuel, and those biofuels are being derived from the materials or the products or chemicals, whatever it is. There are all these the metabolites, the primary metabolites. These all are carbohydrate, protein, lipids, as well as there are some of the pigments. So all these particular materials, whatever is required for to developing economy, it is full with there in algae. And the lipids, it is the through the processes. I'm not going to much detail of those process, but there are always the possibility of biodiesel, and also the different polyunsaturated fatty acid, that is PUFA, MUFA, and the total fatty acids are also it is there. After it is trans-esterified, then it is converted into the different biofuel. So there are a lot of processes. I am not going to highlight about this process. Now there is, we are having the carbohydrate rich of this algae. Sometimes you will not believe that this algae is the full carbohydrate, because so fast it grows. The turnover is a week actually. Within a week, the full growth of this algae is being achieved. And that has a lots of opportunity for bioethanol, biopolymer, and that. And now coming to this protein, we have health supplements, animal feeds, and huge types of pigments are there. They can serve as a natural dyes, including cosmetics. So we all see that this particular algae is actually a pack of this particular products we can get. So first of all, we have to achieve a huge amount of biomass. If we plant a tree, it will take few years. The Jatropa story also could not be succeed because of that, because it takes a lot of time to grow. Now coming to this algae, you will not believe that this will have a so fast turnover, so fast growth rate. Even if you from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 32 to 30, 64, the number of cell within a day or two, it will be completely multiplied so fast. Okay, so this particular we have to get a huge amount of this biomass, and upon combustion it will give some electricity. There are a lot of processes are there. I'm just telling about the gist of that. Through pyrolysis we are getting the bio oil, syngas, and charcoal. Through liquefaction we get the bio oil, and the gasification we can get a syngas. So there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of utilization prospects are there. This is some algae from different states of Northeast India we have worked out, and we have observed around total around 1,000 algal species, almost 960. Now, of course, it would have some of the more number of it has already added. So I'm just giving a type of a rough estimate of our algal exploration from Northeast India. So there are different cyanophyceae, chlorophyceae of different species, bacillariophyceae around 326, rhodophyceae means red algae, dinophyceae, chrysophyceae. There are different types of the algae available in this Northeast India, which is a biodiversity hotspots, and yet also we need to we are our exploration still is under process and progress, and we are expecting maybe this particular number, it might be double or triple upon each and every area if it has been completely explored. And out of that, getting the algae from, am I audible, please?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes, fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Because there are some of the earlier, before my talk, some of the issues were there. That's why I'm in between, I'm asking you. Okay. So a total of more around 400 actually. Some of the algae, we have pure cultured it. We have pure cultured and make a monoculture and pure isolates. We are developing a germplasm in our university. And from those particular areas, it might be a sewage water, it might be a tea garden soil, it might be a stream, river, or whatever. So even if I will explain about we have got an algae from the lichen, from inside the lichen, as you all know, like, I will explain about that afterwards. Okay. So these are the beautifully ornamented, colored, so elegant algae we are getting. So, which under the microscope, you will not believe that what we are thinking as a dart or dust or something, fungus type or something which is very rusty. It's not very something we ignore, but we bring to the microscope and we see so beautifully ornamented morphological structure. This particular algae is there. These all are ornamented desmids, some of the nectarium, some of the clostridium, some of this particular Cosmarium, Euastrum. This particular they grow in different areas, including paddy field, and we get some of this particular blue-green algae, Gleocapsa, Nostoc, Cylindrospermum, Cytonema, Calothrix, so Tolipothrix. Maybe it is maybe heterocystus and non-heterocystus, filamentous, unicellular types of algae we get. And now coming to this particular different types of the algae, including maybe Formidium, it may be a Spirogera, it may be a Botryococcus, maybe a Nostoc, and Hematococcus spirulina. As we all know that we in the whole world is searching for a nutraceutical product. And it is not my thing, it is already known in the literature that spirulina and chlorella, one is blue-green algae, spirulina, and chlorella is a green algae, unicellular algae. They top on the high protein content of their body. Like suppose if you have this 100 gram of spirulina, we can achieve 60 to 70 gram of the protein. So highest protein content in the world, any species, any plant species is being taken by weight, and the amount of this protein content and the plant weight, then this algae are all the highest. And this particular two algae is already known as a superfood. And this particular algae can serve a lot of, even for the space like sojourn, chlorella is being taken as a nutraceutical supplements for the space astronauts, and this is already known. So we got interested about this particular algae. What a type of the chemical entity is there, and we could see that yes, Pyrogara, it is having total carbohydrate, starch, protein. Even if this like that also we could see different types of the algae, and we could do some of the work, and I will explain about this particular aspect in the latter part of my slide. And this is a aspect where we are working from our laboratory and the algal bioplastics. Still the work is on, and typically there is a long chain polymer which is present in the algal lipids as it is used for making bioplastics. And as you all know, like this algae has a numerous like utility, as I highlighted from my previous slide. It is quite attractive for bioplastics because of its high growth rate and high protein content, and also the lipid content. And the plastic market is worth more than $44 billion, and it has grown on average of 3.5% per year over the last couple of decades. So finally, like we try to presume that the conventional plastics could be fully replaced by algal bioplastics in future, and we could be interested that yes, what type of algae can serve as a good bioplastic candidate. So in this context, we are working on particularly some bloom forming algae. As the photo I am just trying to show you, there are different types of the algae, as in my previous slide I highlighted. So mostly this particular algae are bloom forming algae, and we could now we are working on type of the chlorococcum and some of the euglena, and for this bioplastic development. So this is some of the the schematic diagram showing the plastics, and plastics, as it is we all understand that it colonize on this like some of the algae colonize on the plastic surfaces, where when we throw a plastic, and which cause a pollution in the water, and there is a huge nuisance. So this algae can trap those, use those particular lipid component and form a bioplastic. So if I have a good amount of this algal biomass, and naturally this bioplastics can be formed with some technological interventions. So we are trying to do this particular work. So we all understand that yes, about 359 million tons of the man-made plastics are manufactured annually, and each of them cannot be employed for commercial purposes. And after utilizing only 173 million tons of the entire waste, means that plastic waste are generated, and they're gathered for landfilling and recycling. And 20 to 25% of our municipal solid waste from most of these developing countries particularly comprises of synthetic polymers. So this production of synthetic polymers, they promotes the excessive consumption of non-renewable sources like coal and fossil fuel. So in that context, bioplastic assumes greater significance. And of course, the starting point is biopolymers, and they are acquired from various renewable sources like as it is a biomaterials. So which particular organisms or which particular bioproduct materials it can be grown. It can be from microorganism, animal, plants, including algae, or through some of the bioprocesses from organic foods, namely starch, sugar, and organic oils that are also alternative to plastics for use in daily life. So these biopolymers, they are non-poisonous, eco-friendly, with suitable shelf-life, biodegradable substances. It is not that we can keep it for long. It has a specific suitable shelf life, but the purpose is it can serve the purpose. Now, why algae? When we talk about this particular biopolymers, and we highlight about this other plant, microorganism, animal. Now, coming to this algae, why we give too much emphasis on that? This particular candidate is absolutely different by virtue of their elevated biomass output and capability to intake large quantities of carbon dioxide, where animal or other microorganism, they don't have capable in that. Okay, and the discharge and the release and the supplement use enormous amount of this oxygen, and because everywhere this oxygen is required, even if the bacteria will decompose a particular waste, it requires oxygen, and this is a like a starting material which is required for any plant derived sources. So this algae can be declared as a substitute to plant derived sources, and we highlight about this particular in contrast to crops. Farming a crop and farming algae, this is absolutely cost effective and do not demand for any cultivable land and do not compromise with crop requirement. Okay, so we can name this algae derived plastics as green plastics. This algae derived plastics could cut more than half of the petroleum currently used in traditional production. And that is algae bioplastics could eliminate 50% or more of the petroleum and that are usually going into making to the traditional plastic. And absolute, this is, of course, this is a climate resilient green technology, and that is our present demand. And we could now relate about this algae and time to time highlighting about its importance as a primary producers, and in sewage disposal it has a role in minerals, nutrients, agar, it is a alginates, medicine, like a diatomaceous earth, food, fodder, including fertilizers. So as we all know, like just previous slide when I highlight about food, fodder, or medicine, this line, some of our work I am just trying to highlight. I think what are the types of the edible algae? We sometimes think that yes, how come this algae, is it edible? How this algae can be eaten? So there are different communities in northeast, particularly the Monpa community of Arunachal Pradesh. They use this Prasiola crispa as a edible algae, and it is not only for consumption, but there are a lot of other importance of this particular algae, why they are consuming. Lot of medicinal importance, nutraceutical importance. There are a lot of purpose. That is why, sorry, this community they lay emphasis on those particular. This is a green alga, Prasiola crispa. Now in Manipur, actually the Meitei communities are there. They use Lemania manipurensis. It is actually, this particular Lemania is a red algae, which we have worked with a foreign collaboration, and we could see that this particular Lemania, it is a new algae. It is new to science, and we could see this species is a new, and so we named this particular algae as a Lemania manipurensis. And another algae from Manipur also, the Meitei communities, and this is Pyrogera. What are these? I will show you some of the picture in the next slides, that what this particular means communities they eat, and how they consume, and how they, what is their way of this particular means how they try to go, and so they collect this particular algae from the field, from the river water, not everywhere from every river water, in a particular place where the river is pristine, no pollution is there, no human interference is there. So some of the old ladies, they recognize particular, the Meitei communities, they go there and they collect this particular algae, and they bring and they identify that this particular algae is very rich in dietary fiber and protein. So sometimes it's sold in the local market. Now, this is another algae. It's our work. It is a Euglena tuba bloom. As this particular algae has a tuberous proliferations during its reproductive stage. And this algae is Euglena tuba, and this is a bloom forming algae, and every water, any sometimes in, you find it out even if in your area also, if you see that this some of the pond, it is cover, it is a green color or red color. So it is might be for some other algae, but in our region, this particular algae, Euglena, it is a bloom forming algae. This Euglena, it is giving a saturated fatty acid around 78%, and lipid content is 25%. And that is, particularly the PUFA content is 18%. So it is also seems to be a good candidate for particularly biodiesel properties. By working on these biodiesel properties of saponification value, iodine value, certain number, all these are some of the criteria which fulfill of this comparable to the biodiesel standard, whether this particular algae can be an important source of this biofuel. So of course, this algae is identified to be an important candidate for biodiesel. And I'm not going to detail of this particular aspect of our work. And they have this algae. They are very useful also in pharmaceuticals, cosmeticals, and nutraceuticals, and for different aspect of this um, naturally ability to tolerate stress conditions, particularly the acidic condition and the ionizing radiation. This particular algae has a huge amount of this carotene, particularly the anthracene and beta carotene. It is even around. It is about 11% of this beta carotene is present in this their body. So overall, 80% of this carotene which is present in this particular alga. And paramylon, it is also marketed for immunostimulatory agent. This particular algae is full pack of these paramylon bodies in their body. Whenever we see under the microscope, we see the paramylon bodies are so prominent. And this alga is known as that candidate for uh, that aspect. Okay, so now coming to the same aspect, I'm just trying to show you the picture what we are working this for this biodiesel properties to fulfill, and the biodiesel we have extracted from this alga. And this is one of a unique bloom we could see in our university campus pond water, that is called as Botryococcus browni. Botryococcus browni, it is a green alga. You can see this picture, which is a beautiful flowery type of agglomerative structures, aggregated structures. The cells are not found to be very separate type of a flowery arrangement. And this alga, it is earlier we were confusing with a euglena. Maybe it may be euglena, but don't know. Under the microscopic observation, we saw this particular alga is another green alga, which is one of the most hydrocarbon-rich alga in the world. The whole world is searching for a particular alga which is growing in our university campus. As it is around of this 66% 0.33% of the botryococcine. Botryococcine, it is mainly responsible for this hydrocarbon. Of this total hydrocarbon, out of that, C33 botryococcine is mainly for a biofuel property. And because this hydrocarbon can be, this botryococcine, it can be converted into the useful biofuel by hydrocracking. So, and another important aspect of this particular algae, it is squalene content. Squalene content is 7.71. This is a very important material and hydrocarbon particularly, which has a lot of applications. I'm not going to highlight all these aspects that, but this is one of our future alga, which can serve many purposes, in not only for this biodiesel, rather for other aspect of this as a bioresource. Now, this is a alga which is a Bracillonema. We get this particular alga from our from a cemented wall. It grows profusely, and this alga is very interesting. And earlier we were thinking, we were confusing with a cytonema maybe, but by molecular characterization we could see no, this is not cytonema. This has a very specialized cell structure. It is a Bracillonema, and which it is a very means important. It has a very important properties of UV protection, and even if in dry desiccated condition, this is the condition. When you find it out, it has a huge gelatinous pad which covers the cells and protect, and it has lot of stress resilient properties. And this alga is one of the important algae which we are working for this algae. And lot of after extracting this particular alga, we could see there are it is fully packed with many metabolites by doing some of this GCMS analysis, we could see this particular alga has a lot of compounds like butyl alcohol. It is one of the major component of biofuel, and glycine methyl ester hydrochloride. It is also a methyl ester salt mainly used for domestic pesticides and pharmaceuticals. And there are some alkaloid which has been for antifungal and antibacterial activity. The boron also, it is one of the major component of this biofuel. So I'm just trying to highlight about this particular alga. In one alga, we get so much types of compounds. It is fulfilling the biofuel properties. It is fulfilling the different, like particularly the vinyl neo pentanoate, which is mainly used in decorative emulsion paints and plasters. And this particular alga, it is value-added sulfurous acid 2-propyl tridecyl ester, which is the value-added uses is not known. Maybe we are working in that line. But biofuel properties is very much well understood from this algae. So what I mean to say that this algae is becoming a important bioresource. So different, the fate of the algae, it is not just to go waste after their growth, rather it is contributing. And the biofuel and value-added products from algae, we can get a lot of this thing, including ethanol, chemical protein, methanol, biodiesel, and that. Okay. And this algae are potential source, whatever I have already highlighted, the algal metabolites such as catechin and the epigallocatechin, the gallet, catechol, rutin, morin, caffeine, caffeic acid. So these all are important for anti-cancer, reduce cholesterol, eye health, anticoagulating, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, heart health, skin health. So many purpose it can be. It's not only the freshwater algae, rather marine algae also occupy huge importance for their various phytochemicals inside that. And brown algae, green algae, red algae, different components, it is there. Now this lichens. Now coming to this lichen, this is of course, this is algae biochemical composition. When I'm highlighting about the pigments, lipid, protein, vitamins, minerals, polysaccharides, and other bioactive substance. You can see these are the numerous compounds, vitamins, and that A, B, C, D, E, K. Even if it is different ways it can be used. That I like to say. And this algae is an active ingredient for many things. It is terpene, sterols, pigments, polysaccharides, and all that, as I already highlighted about this particular algae. So we are what we are doing actually the marine algae in the freshwater algae from northeast India, algal biodiversity, ecology of algae from different habitats, azolla biofertilizer, eulina as a fish feed, algal symbionts of the lichen, epiphytic algae growing on the macrophytes, and the algae from domestic sewage, value-added products, and carbon nanomaterials, metallic nanomaterials. I'm not going to, because of the limited time, I cannot really do justice to tell about all this aspect. This is a algal germplasm facility we have developed in our university, and we are mainly highlighting exploration, diversity, then isolation, purification, and pure cultural development. Then what a great application of this algae it can have. We are working in this line. And now towards energy, like environmental sustainability, this pharmaceutical, cosmetics, animal feed, food nutraceuticals, bioremediation, biofuel, and bioplastics. We are working in this line, and this particular algae is a suitable candidate for any of this aspect. It can be fulfilled. Now, this is have a great larger potential to absorb, as I highlighted, to reduce the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. and it converts to the bio value added products. So absolutely, this algae is a making a bioeconomy aspect, and it can start with the biofuel, biopolymer, supplemented, and pharmaceuticals with the high value products. Okay, so but most importantly, this algae we are trying to use for culture from wastewater, and we are utilizing this wastewater for this production of a high value products. Now let me highlight about some of the glimpse of the lichens. What are the lichens? These are composite organisms that have different morphological appearance, and done either by symbionts. These are having consist of cortex, medulla, and algal layer. So it is a twin approach. One is fungus, one is algae. Both of them, they under the favorable condition, they forge a symbiotic relationship, and they grow together. And once they grow together, you we find a lichen is growing. So it is absolutely an association between a fungus and alga. It is a fungal partner is a mycobiont, and algal partner, that is a photosynthetic partner, is a phycobiont. It might be a green alga, it might be cyanobacteria, and it has a worldwide distribution, extreme environment. This algae is known to as primary colonizer and primary succession. It occurs on soil, plant, animal, rocks, decorate tombstones, buildings, and they are very rare in polluted areas because they are intolerant to industrial pollutants. So pollution, then I'm going out. If there is a pristine environment, huge growth of this algae, it can be different areas. It can be corticolous, which grows on the tree trunk, ramicolous in the twigs, and lignicolous, it is in the wood, saxicolous in the rocks, musicolous in moss, terricolous in soil, and follicolous in leaves. So you will not imagine that what a great substratum diversity in different types, different area. No area is left if it is a pristine environment. So everywhere this particular lichen can grow. So it is a keystone species of an organism that is vital for the health and well-being of the entire ecosystem, and they are very ecologically important species. The health and survival of many ecosystem usually is linked to certain lichen species. So lichen are the keystone species in many ecosystems. So they serve as a food source. I'll give an example of the many animals like deers, birds, rodents. When there is no food, a lichen is there for them, and they provide the nesting materials for birds. They protect trees, rocks from rain, wind. So because in my earlier slide I have shown you that they cover then the not to allow any type of a stress and other damage, and they grow nicely and they contribute. So coming to this lichen bioprospections, as I told you, this is a symbiotic organism, and a lot of metabolites it is being expected, and it is there, and there is a endolichenic fungi, and in the body you see that is algae and the fungi. The fungi filaments are there, and this particular endolichenic agent, if it is a fungi, it is not. But if it is an endolichenic fungi, it is there for lot of metabolites to be there. So by this symbiosis, the algae and fungus, they synthesize huge type of metabolites. You will not believe that whenever I tell you that 1050 metabolites, secondary metabolites are found in lichen, and out of that only 50 are common in all the plant groups. Rest are only uniquely found in lichen, nowhere else. That is the main beauty of this particular lichen organism, and lot of technologies like metabolomics, interactomics, and chemoinformatics are being employed for bioprospection. For example, like anti-cancer properties, to understand antimicrobial properties, antioxidant properties, anti-Alzheimer's properties, anti-inflammatory properties this particular lichen is having. Because apart from that, there are so many other things I'm not being able to discuss of that. This lichen are being used, sold in the market for biryani masala, and a lot of tribal people in southern part, they are engaged for collecting the lichen. So we understand that yes, it has a lot of aroma properties, which is also fetching a huge market. So I'm not going to all these lichen, fungus, uppercutters, that it is known, of course, I understand. And I believe that this lichen is different. Even if it's a single tree, you will find that different types of growth forms of lichens are there. Broadly, there is a crustose, foliose, and fruticose, deeply appressed crustose. Foliose is loosely attached, leafy type, and fruticose it is which is being hanging only with a point type of a small attachment on the bark or tree. Then rest of the body it is being hanging, fruticose forms. This particular lichen are very useful for food dyes, essential oils, for perfume, soap, bioactive compounds, antibacterial. What I'm just trying to tell you that this particular lichen, this is from Northeast India, this orangey crusty lichens, crustose forms like Pyronella, Rimelia, foliose forms, fruticose forms are Everniastrum. It grows. And interestingly, this particular lichen means the alga from this lichen, like Parmotrima, this we have isolated this Treboxia for biofuel properties, and it is one of the excellent alga ever we have worked in our lab. This is so huge, fast growing, and more amount of this particular biofuel properties of this particular alga. So from lichen, we are getting alga isolates, and it is also contributing a lot. So at present, various properties of the lichen metabolites are known, and researchers are specializing in pharmacognosy and have demonstrated the photoprotective properties of lichens through the presence of mycosporins for anti-cancer purposes to fight that is melanomas. And 5 new compounds are extracted from Parmotrima. Savoins, they have shown cytotoxic activities on cell lines of hepatocellular liver carcinoma, lung cancer, and breast cancer. And these are the lichen-based substances, that is lichen islandia. So this is a natural herbal extract to make cosmetics, therapeutic treatments, and preparation of body massages. There are, as I highlighted, about a lot of products, lichen-based food. It is there. So there are some flakes, some spelt flow, some of this particular lichens, even if butter, it is being prepared. Okay. So these are different types of lichen which is used for the production of cough drops, lobaria particularly, lobaria pulmonaria. And this is being the yellow color, and this Chiodelo, the Peltigera canina, it is also recommended to cure the rabies disease. This is transmitted by the bite of rabid dogs. So this lichen has a lot of importance. Now, coming to this ethno-lichenological aspect, means traditionally lichens are used all over the world, North America, Europe, India, and China. And these different types of genus, particularly Asnia, Cladonia, Lobaria, Peltigera, Parmotrima, they are also worldwide used for a traditional medicine. Now, I am going to highlight some of our work from Northeast India, where we have identified that particularly Monpa tribe from Arunachal Pradesh, they are using Cladonia rangiferina as a traditional use for remedy for kidney stone. Half a teaspoon for sun-dried ground lichen added to 1 cup of boiling water, drunk in morning and empty stomach for 1 month and until cure. So what I mean to say, it is not we know, that it is mainly the tribal people know, and they recommend the dose, they recommend the thing, they observe the patients, and that type. So they are practicing this particular lichen application long time. And medicinal importance of lichens, particularly the Hypotrachena nepalensis. It is, and another Everniastrum nepalens, Parmelia nepalensis. They are also traditionally used for respiratory health. And Parmotrima nilgarens, it is used in Ayurvedic medicine. This is the name is called Charila in Hindi, or silpuspa as a rock flower in Sanskrit, and they are used for indigestion, stomach disorder, kidney stone, toothache, relief headache, used in, as an incense, and powder are applied to wound, promote also healing. So this is also our collaborator. They are working, but I'm just trying to highlight about this. What a great means this particular organisms, the medicinal importance. The heterodermia diademata. This is being used for cut and injury. When you talk about cut and injury, then you must see that maybe some iodine content must be there, and the leaves as a paste and put in the cut and then plastered lichen paste and to protect from water and other infection. And this is Lobaria pulmonaria from Sikkim. This is being used for curing eczema, lung trouble, asthma. And this is another Peltigerilla polydactylum. This is being used, that is locally known as Jau, okay, in the Sikkim. And they are used to stop bleeding, and it's used as an antiseptic. And Asnia sikkimensis, it is being used in Northeast India to consumed as a remedy for lung trouble, and while powdered and lichen is used for hair strengthening. This also, somewhere I went to Pune, then I found in some of the, yes. Yeah, I'm going to complete. Yeah? Time is over, isn't it? Hello?
Continue, madam. I think there is some disturbance.
There is some disturbance. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I will just take maximum 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is a thing which the local people in their coconut oil, they are putting inside and with some other leaf and all that. So I have witnessed to this particular lichen. They told some people, they told नहीं ये पेड़ में कुछ grow होता है ना, वो इतना long है. Because of this long stature, it is having that particular compound which will be used for hair strengthening and for long hair. So that is why this is being used. Okay, so these all are being several ways in by different communities. The lichen is used. They are used as a air quality indicator, and many secondary metabolites is produced by such organism are of great relevance to medical science. And the lichens are used by local people as a traditional food, and this is used in medicine since millennia, and play a vibrant role in ecosystem function and human welfare. So these are some of the economic importance, as ecological importance, pollution indicator, succession, soil formation, nitrogen fixation, source of food as staple food, the condiment and food preservative, medicinal use as I already highlighted. And apart from that, there are a lot of industrial uses, that is source of dye, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, perfumery, and bioremediations. Okay. So these all are applications I have already highlighted. Now coming to the 17 goals to transform our world, like how this particular, first, second to 17, it is, they are linked. So sustainability target, it is already there in that. So targeting directly the SDG goals, the goal 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, and 12 and 13, we are marching towards to achieve that goal by utilization of algae and lichen biomass that can address several SDGs. So what I mean to say, yes, it is of course 8 number of goals out of 17 we can address through lichen and algae utilization. And as we know, the G20 is India's presidency and sustainability, with the aim of establishing a cleaner, greener, and bluer future. The Indian presidency has highlighted lifestyle for environment with a focus on ecologically responsible and sustainable choices at both the individual lifestyle and the national development level. So this is the lifestyle for environment, what I just try to highlight. And the expansion of a low carbon circular bioeconomy as a pronounced socioeconomic and environmental impact, in which Algae-based technology will likely to play a significant role to meet different challenges. And algae can play important role in wastewater phycoremediation, carbon capture, converting unwanted waste into value-added products, thus minimizing the waste generation as well as tackling sustainability and pollution. So addressing sustainability, both social, human, economic, and environmental, these are the different ways. And when we harp on algae and lichen and sustainability, we are now addressing those bioenergy, polythene degradation, carbon dioxide sequestration and climate change reversal, green synthesis of nanomaterials. I have not highlighted this approach. We are working this line, and value-added products, edible algae rich protein source, and medicinal use. So this is the work which is I have explained. This is the outcome of our research scholars. Some effort they have put to achieve this particular aspect of this work, and we are still working in this line. Then our collaborator, these are from Trichinopoli, from Assam University, BITS Pilani, NBRI, IIT Kharagpur, and CFTI Mysore. And the different funding agency, I acknowledge all of them for this work. And sustainability is a continued phenomenon. So to achieve the sustainable goal, let's not neglect the tiniest organism, algae, and the fascinating lichens. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
One of your, in your slides, you mentioned that there are any evidences, any kind of lichen, any name which has been worked on.
Will you please repeat, please? I just could not.
Lichens, they are used as an anti-cancerous drugs.
Yes.
Yeah. Any name of the lichens which can cure, and what kind of cancer they are going to cure?
Actually, we have worked on a lichen that is Parmotrima. Okay. I'm exactly the species name. I am not in a position to think. In the +1 we have published. It is mainly for breast cancer.
Okay, ma'am.
We have worked, but there are maybe some other different lichen can be targeted for different cancer. But breast cancer we have worked.
Is it available in the market, ma'am?
No. This is a research outcome. It need to be transferred to the company, and there are a lot of procedures are there.
Only research has been done now.
No, only +1 Jayashree Rout +1 publication. If you go, you can get the detailed information. But whether any type of product or local in the market, the medicine is there, that I am not aware.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. ସେଇଟାই ତ କହୁଛି ମୁଁ ତ କିଛି ଦେଖିପାରୁନି ଫୋନଟା ତ କରି ତ ଡାକିବ
Ma'am, may I ask?
Yes, please.
It was calm and very nice presentation, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
My question is regarding algal diversity, ma'am.
Algal diversity, fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Among the various habitat, your team is observed more numbers in the paddy field, that is the monoculture system.
Yeah. Actually, what happened? No. It is okay. Please complete your question, then I will answer.
Is there any reasons behind that? That's all.
Yeah. Actually, this is the outcome of our DBT project. Okay, frankly speaking, and the DBT project, the scholar has worked for 2 years, and this particular area in the rice field, this is a very nice, means very ideal environment for algae to be colonized. Okay, so this algae is being used. Means whenever the shallow water is there, and because when you talk about the shallow water, that means the depth is very less and the light penetration to the sediment is there appropriate. So it is a very ideal environment. Of course, the humidity, the temperature, all are there. So it is very congenial environment for the algae to grow. And we are getting a number of blue-green algae along with the green algae, diatom, despids in that region. But when the project thirst was the cyanobacteria, so we could isolate more than around 200, more than 200, or afterwards actually some of the other people they have worked. So totally we have a culture around 350 isolates we have deposited. So that is why it is not that blue-green algae is not that rice field is the only thing, but it is giving a very congenial environment. If you get a moist soil, maybe we get 4, 5, 6 algae. That is why I told you, when we have a damp soil, we might get 4, 5, 6. But when you go to the paddy field, it is a very nice environment. Even if in the rhizosphere of this root area of the rice, there are huge number of algae is being colonized, water, sediment. So everywhere we have isolated, we have collected and we have isolated. So this is the reason. There are rivers, there are streams. We are getting some red algae also from rivers. There we are getting from red algae from streams also. So this region is one of the most hotspot region, truest sense of hotspot actually. We are getting because this algae is indicating the quality, water quality, air quality. So we are getting a number of algae. Even if now also this work is on and we have not been completely explored. I cannot tell you that we have explored all the area. Even if 10% of the area or maybe less than that we have explored. So this is the outcome. So still this work is on.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.